all signs are very, very positive, and we're certainly excited for the new year ahead.
Matt, thank you for joining me for our market update. First one of 2026.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we're going to recap quickly how things are going in this year so far, and then I thought it'd be a bit of fun to look back at some of our previous market updates, because we've been doing this for a year now in this format. Have a look at our predictions that we tried to avoid, and we'll perhaps see why. But look back at some of those videos and then make some comments about that.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
So how's 2026 gone so far?
So we're very early in January as we're filming, but all signs are very, very positive. We were hopeful for this as well, obviously with a late budget in 2025, which kind of then didn't leave enough time for there to be a sort of reaction, because we went straight into Christmas. We had the Bank of England obviously been reducing rates over the course of last year, but obviously we had one more just before Christmas as well. So with mortgage lenders sort of reflecting that with more competitive sort of lending rates, with that budget on the property side of things being reasonably safe, you know, nothing too scary in there, we were hopeful that we'd be going into the new year with some positivity. Like I said, because it's so early, we are experiencing a busy market. I don't want to commit too much yet because we've only done sort of one full week, but there are already sales tied up. There's lots of houses coming on the market, which is typical this time of year, so if you're looking, keep an eye out, and all signs are very, very positive, and we're certainly excited for the new year ahead.
Great. Yeah, I'm hearing from the teams that there's lots of viewing activity going on, which is really positive. So, shall we dive into our first video?
Yeah, let's see what it is then. Yeah,
let's have a look. Kind of a bit of a prediction. So, Rightmove has said price rises of about 4% in 2025. They are talking for the whole of the UK, so we have to take that in consideration. Do we think similar? Could it be a bit less than that? I know it's difficult.
I think it all comes down to what I've mentioned previously about how aggressive the mortgage lenders go. So that would be slightly different to what Bank of England do, but it's how, you know, if the Bank of England start dropping interest rates, how aggressive do mortgage lenders provide that saving to clients?
So, what do we think, Matt?
Yeah, so obviously no surprise, forever the optimist in regards to the year ahead. Looking back on that, it's really interesting to see how that played out. The factors that Rightmove were suggesting and we were hoping for, I think were just a bit slow to take hold. Ultimately, nothing really changed until we had that sort of stamp duty for first-time buyers sort of alter at the beginning of April, and at that point I don't think we had any Bank of England drops at that stage. And then as we progressed into summer, it was as early as August, you know, we were talking about the November budget. There was so many rumours about taxation changes surrounding property on that. And I think it stalled everything. Ultimately, you know, we did have Bank of England decrease the rates and mortgage lenders get a bit more competitive through the course of the year. As I've already previously mentioned though, until the budget was out of the way, and then that came at the wrong time of year, it just kept things very, very stable while everyone sort of sat on their hands and waited. Again, that's why we have that sort of optimism for this year coming, because we kind of think, well, actually that's been taken care of now. But like every prediction I'm sure I make when we go through this, I always say let's wait and see.
I think for people that are watching, so the actual amount was actually a decrease. This is for the whole of England, so we've got to take that into account. But it went down by 0.6%, so pretty much flat, as you say.
It was surprising, because we've looked at it, haven't we, how similar the numbers were for 2024 and 2025. You know, bearing in mind there's so much water to go under the bridge over the course of a whole year, how the numbers were so close to each other.
Yeah, and really what we saw was the first kind of half of the year actually was going to plan, if you like, you know, and prices were steadily rising as predicted, but then it was that budget and the rumours of what might or might not be in the budget.
Exactly.
This is why we don't like committing to predictions.
Because there's so many factors that influence people's confidence. That's what it boils down to.
But I think there's a lesson there as well for people that are looking at selling, is if the market's good now, take advantage of that, because you just don't know what is round the corner.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right, should we move on to the next one? The figures that we discussed last month were it's between about a 50% chance of selling in 2024. It was a difficult market. Now, some agents obviously performed worse than that. I imagine people want to avoid those agents, and then others performed far better, such as ourselves. I think the other thing is it's not just about choosing which agent you go with to start with. There are people who have perhaps gone with an agent, haven't got the results that they wanted. They might be feeling a bit disheartened, and I want them to know that actually choosing another agent can make a dramatic difference if they've got the right tools, the right team, and the right approach to marketing the property.
Absolutely.
So, chances of selling. So, as we said in the video there, last year was 50%, or 2024 it was 50%. How's that looked for 2025?
So things have improved, if that makes sense. So we saw an average of, chance of selling at around 59%. Again, like we mentioned last year, that there's agents that were below that. We were really pleased.
So that 59 is for all agents, is it?
Yeah, as an average, if that makes sense. And like I said, some were above, some were below. We were really pleased, for example, that your chances of selling with Ellis Winters calculated at 70% in 2025. So again, like we alluded to last year, and again this year has just gone, we're really pleased with those sort of numbers, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it really does show. I know I said it in the video, but picking the right agent is so important. We obviously looked at all of the agents that we come up against. There were some large, what you would seem as popular agents in our area. They were as low as 45% chance of selling,
they were,
and we're at 70%. So it is so important. And like I said in the video, because I think it's worth saying again, even if you've gone with an agent and you've not had the results that you wanted, it's still worth changing agent.
Oh, definitely, like you said, and come and have a chat with us. As simple as that. Come and have a chat with your local property expert in the office, or get them to come out and have a look at your property.
We can talk about what we'll do differently.
All the things, we cover this in lots of different videos. From marketing to services to how do we get these results? Well, let's come and have a chat and talk to you.
Great. Right, one more video.
Yeah.
So let's talk about rentals. We've seen about an average of 7% increase in rental values over the last year.
Yeah, sounds about right.
There's obviously a limited supply, and that's driving up these prices. Is that supply becoming more limited because landlords are leaving? We've got the rent reform bill that's due to be implemented. Still waiting exactly to hear on what that will mean for people. Are landlords leaving because of that?
No, from what we're experiencing, they're not. We are certainly seeing landlords actually coming from managing properties themselves, actually inquiring and coming to talk to us about us managing those rentals. Yes, the Renters Reform Bill, like I said, we're still waiting for the final details to be signed off, but there is a lot of indicators that there are things you're going to have to be conscious of, and legislation you're going to have, you're going to have to be compliant. I think is probably the best way, but more so than ever,
So the Rent Reform Bill, now the Rent Reform Act, because it's all come into place. But what we were talking there was about, are landlords being put off? Are they leaving? And how that's contributing to rent increases? Yeah,
really interesting subject. Obviously, we covered quite a lot over the course of last year, it looks like I said no, and we can reflect on the whole year now and go, that was correct. What we have seen is we have, as a company, taken on over 150 new landlords to manage their property, and not all of them, of course. There's other reasons why they're joined, but there's a lot of those that have done that mainly because of that act or bill that's been proposed. To make sure that they've got an agent supporting, keeping them compliant, and being in place to I guess sort of sail these choppy waters that we're in at the moment, if that makes sense. So selfishly, that's been a good thing for us, and that's what we're seeing.
Great. And just on rental values, I think actually towards the end of the year we've seen them perhaps flatten out a little bit, haven't we?
Ever so slightly. I think it's a timing thing. Landlords don't tend to give tenants notice, so the availability of property, etc., all around that sort of Christmas period and that time of thing. We have started to see that pick up again. We're still early in January. So if that activity picks up, we might then see rentals, obviously the actual value of rent increase slightly. We'll evaluate that as we go forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you for joining me, Matt. It's been good to look.
It's been good fun, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to see what our predictions for this year, how they transpire.
Well, like I said, forever the optimist. I'm obviously saying 2026 is going to be great, but I'm sure we'll see further down the line.
Yeah. Thanks, Matt.
No trouble. Thank you.